Hey everybody, it's Heiden. Then I'm back with the best game ever, War in the Pacific, Admirals Edition. This is scenario 2. I'm playing Japan, and Hellsen, my opponent, is playing Allies. We just grabbed the base Tungu in Burma. This is the 10th of January, 1942. Alright, and I forgot to mention this in the video yesterday when I my pre-recorded stuff. We're landing at Sabang here. Uh, this is going to be the start of my Sumatra conquest, so looks like we were able to land without these 75mm coastal defense guns really doing any damage to us. That should have unloaded the bulk of the troops that we need. All right, check this out. So we have the Pompano, which is one of the Allied Mark 14 boats, now operating in what I call the Baton Gap. It's this gap between the top part of Luzon and Formosa. This means I need to get some ASW working in here now because this is a very important route for my ships to transition through. I'm glad that these patrol boats found this. All right, here we go. We got the tuna sitting in the Port Moresby hex now, and that's obviously a concern because I've got ships there. So tuna sitting in Port Moresby. Oh. Okay, so the tuna just fired at this Bunzon, which is an already damaged ship that was unloading supply in its own task force. Fired 2 torpedoes, but the Mark 14s did their magic for me, and we had a dud. I need to get some ships on that right away. No night bombing in this turn. I haven't seen Hellsen do it yet once. Okay, guys, we are landing at Den Pasar. This is a Dutch base. Oh, crap. There's troops there. That's not good. All right, continuing to unload at Sabang. 2 shell hits into the Ayu Tosan Maru by these 75mm guns. They don't pack a lot of punch, though. The ship should be fine. And that was us landing on Mindanao. The last base that he's got there. I didn't think that he would actually have troops there still. That's kind of a problem. That's actually a huge problem for me. Okay. Um, so some Dutch and uh, some Dutch and some Allied coastal minesweepers just had a contact here, and, and they both ran away. Wow, this is going to be a bizarre. Um, this is going to be a bizarre operation there, Java. It's not so great. Yeah, not good. Things are not off to a great start, guys. Looks like we've been detected. Well, and here we go with the bad weather again. Although it does not appear that we have as many canceled strikes today as before. Alright, sweeping over Palembang, just kind of poking around to see what he's got. This is us bombing his troops that have retreated from Port Moresby. Lark Battalion and the Royal Australian Air Force Space Force. The Lark Battalion is there. The Lark Battalion starts from Rabaul, so that tells you that he was transporting them here before. Okay. Things are going to heat up in the Java Sea area, guys, a lot. So this is the unit that's attempting to jailbreak the Allied unit out of Pucheng. So I'm going to try to kill it before they get in there. And it looks like we may have a strong chance of doing that. So 10th Group Army is what's there. This is just an Army Group unit. We may be able to kill it. I'm sending everything I got at it today, guys. I gotta try to kill this thing. And it's looking like we have a good chance of doing that. Look at that. We may kill it before it even gets into that hex, guys. Okay. Strike on Clark, but we've got bad weather. And no supply hits, and that's what I really needed. Severe storms over target. Man, we are just not having good weather right now. Okay, so we're bombing Palembang now, and I'm just trying to poke around and see what I can see. Okay. We destroyed some aircraft on the ground. Some damage to the base, so that's reassuring to know that we can get that kind of damage on Palembang whenever we want to. And we got some aircraft destroyed. That's great. Guys, I think we have a good chance of destroying this unit completely before it even gets into the hex. Alright. So this attack was targeting the units that are actually in Sabang, so they cannot retreat. Okay, pretty not great attack. This weather's really killing it. Okay, this is us attacking Baton, and again, pretty bad weather there is gonna affect stuff. We may kill this unit before he ever gets in there. Okay, AM phase is done. Not too bad. I'm worried about the PM phase and Dutch patrol boat attacks in basically. Secret's out now. I guess I'll have to talk about it when we go around the map. He knows we're coming. Hmm. Bad weather, you don't say. Okay, here we go. We got a raid. Clear skies. We're hitting Toowoomba. Okay, let's see how this goes. I would call that kind of pathetic results. 13 resource hits at Toowoomba. Apparently it's got flak there. We took a lot of hits. Okay, our second Keto Butai raid is off. Overcast, that's not great. We're going to hit Newcastle again. Bombing resources. And fair amount of hits, but it's not great. That'll have to do. At least we got another, that's 3 consecutive days of getting raids off, though. I guess I can't be too upset because prior to that, we were having all kinds of weather-related issues. So we got something in today. It's not particularly good bombing today. Oh, man. Oh. Well, thank you, Boonzon, for wasting 4 torpedoes today. The Mark 14 curse continues its reign of terror at Port Moresby. Dud torpedoes. Well, looks like we survived the... Nope. Ugh, that's enough already. Dude, the tuna has fired 6 torpedoes in 1 day at the same ship and missed or got duds each time. That's enough. Jeez. All right, let's see what we get for land attack. All right, this is us. Ooh, look what I found. ABDA command. All right, I think we should have more than enough force here to take these units out. Let's see how this goes. You ready? Let's go. Nice. Okay, that went pretty dang good. And now we know where ABDA is at, or at least part of it. See that? This is a fragment. He was trying to transport it out of here, but I don't think he got it all done in time. So we take Sabang, and now we'll head down the coast. Okay, I'm hoping this time we can dislodge these guys. They literally have 0 assault value. Let's go. Yes! Got him. Ugh. I don't like that. It's not, it's not what I wanted them to do. Okay. So we drive these 3 units off, but unfortunately they go towards Yan'an. I was hoping they would have gone a different direction, but I guess that's the nearest source of supply. So now they're kind of over here and causing issues. All right. And a bombardment attack at this hex, and it's giving me a good look at what he's got here. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not going to be enough to stop us from blowing right through this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Look at this. Okay, so here's what's happening. We got a lot of troops into here. We're trying to drive up towards Lanchow, this direction, right? I did a bombardment just to kind of see what he's got here, and he ain't got diddly. 152 AV is not going to stop us going up this hill. So this is really good for us. Next turn, we're going to blow through this, and it's going to be fantastic. Okay, this is the absolute last dot base left on New Guinea. And we just grabbed it. Alright, and now the Allies are bombarding us. And they did not trade well. And all they're doing is wasting their supply because they don't have a lot to begin with. So I would call that a good trade. In fact, I don't even know what they were bombarding us with. Oh, I guess these things. Japanese bombardment at Pucheng. So now we're counter bombarding. And we inflict a little more casualties there. Alright. Ominato size 7. Awesome. That base is key to my defense of basically Hokkaido and Sakhalin. Because that base can operate any kind of aircraft. And I have a air HQ there too. So, a very important base for me. So decent results in China today, but I'm very concerned about Java, and we'll talk about that when we go through the turn. I have issues. I have serious issues here now. Ah, Delhi again. Nice. You see that? Those are some good units. Okay. Um, let's take a look at this. Well, we got another strike off today on Australia. We hit Toowoomba and Newcastle, and we found something really exciting. But let's go over the numbers before we talk about that. So, aircraft losses today. Another costly day for Japan. 9 aircraft lost, 2 for the Allies. So we lost 3 VALs on the attack. So far we've lost 15 total, which I still don't think is that bad for what we've accomplished. We've lost 2 Nels, ops losses. 1 Sonia, 1 Anne, 1 Sally, and a Betty. He lost a Lodestar that we bombed in the ground and a PBY-5 ops loss. Looking at the top pilots list, 1 killed pilot and 2 wounded. Let's take a look at those wounded pilots and see if we can figure out what's up with them. Alright. What do we got here? Okay, so far all the wounded pilots are showing on the list today appear to be coming back. And if we go to the reserve list, looks like Tsukamoto. He's not coming back, so we're going to go ahead and retire him. Alright, so looking at the army loss points for this turn, the Allies lost 31. We lost 4, which is the most we've lost in a while. Ship sunk last turn. None yet, but it might get worse, and I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay, so for strat bombing, I do have something good to report. Today we got 224 points, which brings us almost just 78 points short of 3,000. That's incredible. I love it. This is some good padding for my score right now. So another great day strat bombing, which is really helping our campaign. For the turn total, we've gone up 264 points, bringing our win ratio up to 2.051. Alright, let's take a look at Combat Reporter. We'll take a look at today's activity. So, Port Moresby, check this out. We had the tuna fire at this ship, the Bunzan, not once, not twice, but 3 times. 6 torpedoes shot at the same ship, and the Mark 14 curse. So, I'm not messing around anymore. We're going to take this guy, and we're just going to go ahead and disband him, because he's nothing but a torpedo magnet. And I'm afraid that you're just going to lose it needlessly. So what we can do instead is take these destroyers and put their boundary just to go in and out of Port Moresby, and hopefully we can deal with that sub. I'd love to damage it. These particular destroyers have the mod 2. Whoa, what's going on here? Man, talk about a fail when your ambient music starts playing commercials, right? Anyway, these destroyers have the mod 2 depth charges on that one. Those are regular, but they should be just fine to deal with that sub. Okay. And then we had a weird surface engagement with our minesweepers near Banjuwangi, but nothing came of that. Ground combat today. We took the last stop base on New Guinea. That's over here. Sabang. We had a pretty decent showing there. We knocked out 6 allied units that were stacked at Sabang, and we pushed them south. And as you can see here, he has been using Sabang to move the ABDA command out of this area. So my guess is he sent it to, I don't know, maybe Rangoon at some point, maybe to Colombo. But he definitely evacuated it, at least part of it. Pucheng. He actually bombarded us and ended up losing out on that exchange, but we have a bigger concern there, and I'll show it to you in a little bit. Ground combat on this hex in China, and it went a little bit better for us this time. Today we were able to dislodge these units. It was right here. They moved over here. And then a little bit of ground combat up here, and we'll talk about that too in just a little bit. Air activity, the ones I really want to show you today are the Toowoomba raid, which occurred over here. And we took out almost all the resources at that base. And we also got an attack on Newcastle with arcades, and that brought down his resources even more. So we've destroyed almost half the industry total at Newcastle so far. A lot of points there. But as you can see, the Kido Butai has moved further north, and every day we are going to continue moving north is my guess. So we're basically saying goodbye for now to this whole region, and it's quite resource rich and industry rich, but I am just no longer comfortable hanging around down here, so we need to get the heck out of here. So that's what we're going to do. All right, take a look at SIGINT. We have radio transmissions at Canberra. I don't know what's going on there. Cebu, which is in the Philippines. I don't think there's much activity happening there. All right. Pearl Harbor has heavy radio transmissions again. Yeah, I really can't tell much about it here. Other than he's got, it's the same SIGINT we had yesterday. Dutch Harbor, if there's anything there. Can't really see anything. That's Soviet Union don't care. And Pago Pago, which is down this way. We got a ship there, that's about it. Not much else. So the SIGINT for the Japanese continues to be mostly useless here. Okay, ops report stuff. Let's go over a few things. Arrivals. Check this out. The 5th Amphibious Brigade at Samal and the 5th Guards Engineer Regiment at Hanoi. This is actually kind of a very important thing for me. So and notice I already had ships ready. Check this out. Let's go ahead and refuel these guys. Then we're going to load up this Amphibious Brigade. And what I intend to do with it is take this unit and land and dump it off here at Haiphong. We're going to send it over there and we're going to unload it. And then we'll send these guys back to Saigon after that. And what I'm going to do is take this Amphibious Brigade that we just got, which is quite powerful. It's almost 200 AV. We're going to land it here and use it for our attack on Nanning. As you can see now, we've already got another Guards Regiment moving in. We have another Guards Regiment moving up. We've got 2 militia regiments here. And down here near Saigon, we have another guards regiment coming in. So we're going to have, what, 150, 300, 300, 350, 600, almost 800 AV to attack this direction with. We should easily overcome the defensive at Nanning, and then we can continue driving on to Lanchow to secure that base. And this is going to take about 2 weeks for this all to happen, but it's looking good. All right, what else do we got here? The Japanese tab. Oh, Ominato size 7 airfield. That's great. Let's take a look at that real quick. That's kind of important. So, Ominato, as I mentioned earlier, is one of my key bases for defending all of northern Japan, right? This base has plenty of aviation support. We have aviation headquarters here. And this airfield can easily accommodate anything we need. So, I'm going to build up to size 8 just because. And after that, we'll call it good. Japanese tab, we captured Sabang, Timoeka, and Tungu. We'll focus on those when we go around the map. Pilot tab. That's where our dead pilot came from, was a Nell unit today. Repairs. Look at that. We have 2 additional AKEs coming online here at Tokyo. And if we take a look at our list, remember, Japan starts with like basically 1 AKE. And that's an ammunition replenishment ship. I've done a lot of conversions. Look how many we have now. We've got like 15 of them. So definitely not having any issues with AKEs. And you see there's a lot of them at Tokyo. I just need to get them loaded up and get them sent out into the system. But we solved our supply ammo replenishment situation with conversions here. And the sub tab. Check this out. Previous report of sinking of S-39. Oh. I'm telling you, man, the production quality of this video is the worst. My free music is not so free anymore. I might have to find another vendor. Anyway. As you can see, the S-39, which we reported as sunk previously, is not sunk, and I knew it wasn't. So now that takes points away from us, and that ship is back in service. All right, and that's basically it for Combat Reporter. Let's go ahead and go around the map. We'll start in Northern Pacific. Nothing happening up here. Those 2 heavy cruisers, wherever they went, and they're gone now. So I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. We're going to move on with our day. Check it out. We finally have resources flowing out of Toyohara and Sakhalin now. These guys are loaded up and heading down into Wakanai. And I have another task force already loading here. So we're going to have about 2... maybe 3 CS convoys pulling all the resources out of Sakhalin, transferring them down to Hokkaido, and then from Sapporo and Hakodate, we'll transfer these back to the home islands, where Ominato and Hirosaki are ready to receive them all. And that all will flow down into the heavy industry here in mainland Japan. Okay, let's look at China. We got some problems. Let's start with here. We had our victory here, but unfortunately the troops retreated towards their nearest source of supply that makes sense, which was Yan'an. I guess I didn't think about that. I was hoping they would retreat like this way, but that wouldn't make sense because we block them here. And so Yan'an is the path that they retreated towards because Yan'an produces supply. But now these guys are just going to split off and go in 3 different directions. One here, one here, one here. I'm going to be dealing with this for a long time. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to garrison this entire road here until we completely eliminate these units, which kind of stinks because I don't like to tie up forces like that, but I got to keep this MSR, this main supply route, open to support my drive on Lanchow from this direction. And these units being on these hexes are causing issues, so we're going to have to play whack-a-mole for a while with all of these Chinese units on the roads. It is what it is. At least we did get them off this hex for now, and we know that this unit is badly depleted, or all 3 of these are badly depleted. So when they come back on the road, it won't take hardly anything at all to get them back off again. I just need to basically come up with 3 units to keep this road busy. And it could be something as simple as an armored car company could probably deal with these guys at this point. The other issue I'm seeing is these units here are heading in two directions. So now it means I got to come up with 2 units to keep this rail line open, which again is such a big waste of my time. But I have to do it because I got to keep this rail line open because it's keeping Ichang in operation, which I got to have to support bombing operations up here. Okay, I would say the biggest issue that I have right now in China is, well, before I get to that, let's talk about up here. As you can see, we got 1900 AV into this hex, and I've already got these guys ready to go. I've got 2 units that are going to bombard, and I've got the rest that are going to deliberate attack. I think what I'm going to do is tell these guys to actually, let's put these 2 in reserve to pursue, because I won't need that much AV to take these guys out. All right, so we'll send. So we're gonna have 2 fractions. So I basically have. I think they're gonna retreat this way. I think they will. No, I'm not gonna do that. We're gonna leave. We'll put A on reserve, and we'll put B on combat. And I don't want them to attack, but they can bombard. The reason is that I'm leaving breadcrumb units on this road as I continue up it, so that he can't come in and take it from behind. That doesn't sound right. All right. So, for example, I have this 3rd Division C, right? It's going to sit in this hex so that if he were to come back into here, he can't retake it and block us off. So we're going to hold it open, and then we're going to do the same thing here and here in every hex that we go up the road, so that he cannot close the door behind us. And we will benefit from this terrain, rough and mountain terrain, as this happens. So I think this is great. Let's keep it going. Okay, now my biggest issue is down here. So all of a sudden 1 unit turned into 3. I thought I was just dealing with this. Now we've got this and this. And what's happening is they're all moving in. Okay. They're all moving in to try to open up this hex side. And actually, now that I look at it, it's even worse than I thought. This is terrible. This is actually really bad. So, he's already entered the hex down here. So he's actually coming into this hex from 4 different directions. And basically now, this unit is no longer surrounded and has an escape path. And pretty soon it's going to have multiple escape paths. You see them all? This hex side is open. So he came in from down here into here. And that's why there are now 7 units in this hex. And he's going to have more entering over the next few turns. So this turned into a bit of a big misplay on my part. Let's see. Let's just put these guys on combat and just sit. There's nothing we can do now. So my encirclement of these units is now over, and he can get out of here soon. I'm going to continue to bomb these units just to try to kill them and keep some other hex sides from closing. But I just don't think I'm going to be able to do much with this. I just did not do an adequate job addressing the issues of these units flanking around and freeing these guys and breaking them out of jail. So I'll take the responsibility for that action. Dang it. That stinks. Well, at least we have this offensive going on down here. Like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be going into Nanning and Lanchow as soon as I have the forces in place. So I've got units coming in this way. These guys are going to come in here. I've got quite a bit of units coming this way. And once we blow through Nanning, these troops can contribute and move into whatever the heck this place is, Lanchow. And then we'll really put a big wedge in him down here and force him to react down here, because we'll have at least, I don't know, 1,500 AV down here on the offensive. And this is where all of his strength is concentrated. So we can take this base out. He's got really nothing everywhere else that can respond to it, unless he rails units out of Changsha. But we'll see what happens with that. All right. Taking a look in Burma, we did capture Tungu this turn. So what we're going to do is just hold. Because I don't want to go any closer to Magway right now for reasons I've previously discussed in other videos. I don't want the space swapping over to the Japanese just because we're close to it. I cannot afford to lose Magway to his B-17 bombers. So I think we're going to consolidate down here. I'll put these guys on deliberate attack, right, to engage this unit here. I'll take this infantry regiment, which is already on the way. It's going to move back, and we're just going to hold at Tungu and wait. Okay. We have Imperial Guards Division coming in next turn, and 2 other units after that. And then we'll just wait. And once it makes sense for me to get to Magway, or once I'm no longer concerned about this being a potential bombing target, we'll continue to push up Burma, and with the eventual goal of taking out Lanchow. So, I didn't cover this very well last turn, but I want to now. We had a successful amphibious assault on Sabang, and I have these units now moving down the road here. And the goal here is to continue down this road, take this base, right? And then continue down here to Medan. And Medan is an oil base. So I need to be very careful about this. However, I did send an aviation battalion with this invasion. So once we get into Medan, I can immediately fly in cap fighters and protect it from bombing attacks, or at least try to. I feel more comfortable about being able to support Medan because it is getting kind of far away from other bases. Like nothing north of here can bomb it. It would have to come from Palembang. And I've already started a campaign to start bombing the airfield at Palembang to neutralize that. That way we can take Medan and immediately get tankers set up. And what we're going to do is just do CS convoys and shuttle back and forth between Medan and Georgetown. And we'll move the oil onto Malaya that way. It's only a one-day trip each way. And this is the limited operation that I'm going to have on Sumatra for now. Nice and slow. I'm in no rush. We have the whole year to capture this base. These troops aren't going anywhere. All right, so good news and bad news. The good news is we've basically saved all the troops that were on ships that were about to sink yesterday. They've all been unloaded, and a significant portion of those made it back into Singapore. This ship, the Kiku, looks like the fires are coming out, and it's going to safely make it back to Singapore. So I'm going to have it set to auto disband when it gets there, and we can get this guy in the shipyard and rescue the ship. This vessel will also make it. It is minorly damaged. Minorly? Is that a word? It will get back to Singapore, and we'll put it to auto disband, and we'll repair that. Now, here's the kicker. This is what's really going to stink. Yeah. This landing ship, it is definitely going to die next turn. We were able to rescue a lot of the supply and the troops aboard, which is great, but the ship is beyond saving. It's basically burning down to the ground. And this is one of my very valuable LSDs due to its capacity. That's going to cost me 34 points next turn. And those are points that I really can't afford to be losing like this. So this was a big loss to me. I underestimated the importance of that operation. I didn't think it was really within reach of him. But nothing is out of reach of those stupid float plane, patrol planes at 1,000 feet bombing. I hate it. What a silly exploit. I'm just kidding. I did it too when I played Allies. But yeah, this ship's going to go down next turn. And that's a big win for him. That's a very expensive ship. This might be the most expensive ship that I will lose so far in the campaign. But we did save the troops. So that's something. Okay, Philippines. Status quo over here on Luzon. Nothing really significant to report. Other than Tugu Gurao is about to be a size 5 airfield next turn, which means we can move more aircraft here to continue bombing these bases. We do have quite a bit of damage on both of them. So they are, at this point, I no longer need to fly cap missions here. So I'll probably take these Oscars. I'm going to stand them down and get them ready to move to another operation because I don't need them here anymore. So I'm going to let them rest for a turn. This to get their fatigue down really low, and hopefully get some fatigue off these airframes. So I could probably send them into Burma or anywhere else. I don't need them here. These bases are so compromised now. He can't fly any. Even if he wanted to fly Cap in here, he couldn't do it because the field's too damaged. And they were just gonna keep waiting. Let the supply bleed down nice and slow. And keeping with that, I landed a small little fragment of units here on Oroquieta, and this will be the last base other than Malay that he owns now. So we'll take this, and that'll be it. And then these guys are just bottled up, and it's just a matter of time. So I have the 21st Division split up into 3 pieces because they recover faster, and I'll show you what I mean. If we take this unit and rebuild it, you see that's at 312 assault value. Yesterday it was at 300. So we recovered 12 devices in one turn because they were divided up. We probably would have got 1/3 of that otherwise. So we'll keep them divided up, let these guys recover nice and slow. And once I have a unit in here to replace this, I'm going to take the 21st Division and basically move it to Cagayan. I've got transports waiting to go pick them up, and we'll get these guys off to the next operation, which I'm thinking is probably going to be Tarakan, because I'd like to neutralize this base and get it over with while I can, because I am concerned about Tarakan being used to bomb Balikpapan and Miri. I'm not so much concerned about Tarakan getting bombed because they don't. I mean, it does have oil, but it's not a ton. I could probably be okay with that. So I'd rather neutralize Tarakan now, and then I don't have to worry about this base being used against the other ones later on. And I bet you I can find a place for the 21st Division to do that mission. All right, so I gotta come clean, guys. I've been a little quiet about my operations in the Java Sea, but I really can't hide it now because the secret's out. I had been planning an invasion of Java for a while, but it didn't really happen the way I had hoped. I thought, so I was going to land this Japanese engineer battalion here, and I was hoping that the base was just going to be available for free. But he has a unit here. I don't think it's particularly powerful. I think it's like pieces of a aviation support unit, but I still have to take it out to capture this base. I had intended to capture this base and 4 deploy zeros here to support landings on Java, but unfortunately he has spotted basically every one of my invasion task forces, and there is so many aircraft in Surabaya, and there's even more up here in Bandung, that I think at this point, until I have Denpasar captured and secured, I think we need to kind of call this invasion off. But what I'm going to do is take these ships and move them back to Makassar and hold there, because I want them under cap, because you can guarantee his stupid Dorniers are going to come at me with everything they got, and I don't want to be unprotected from that. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to hope for the best and take Denpasar. If that's the case, then we're back on, and we can fly long range cap to anywhere we want in Java to protect our ships going in, and we'll go from there. That's all I can really do. So yeah, invasion's on hold because we need this fragment to happen first. I was hoping these guys would stay undetected for one more turn so we could take this base. And I was hoping this base wouldn't be covered like it is, but it's going to be a problem now. And you can bet that these fighters are going to sweep. Well, he can't sweep his own base, but he can long-range cap it himself. I don't know. It's a mess, guys. I hope I can figure something out here, because we've got to have this base or we can't go in that Java right now. Dang it. Okay. On happier news, we're still looking great over here in the Solomons. We are now moving towards WoW. Oh, wow. So it looks like we're moving about 4 hexes a day. It's going to take us about 12 days to get into position, and that's okay. And that's okay. So we're gonna take this base, and that'll be it for everything on New Guinea. Other than these guys, and I'm not worried about these guys right now. They're completely useless. We did end up landing more air garrison units on Port Moresby. We have a base force, some other stuff. Obviously, the tuna, the submarine tuna, is in the hex and causing some issues, but we'll deal with that next turn. Okay, so I think we got something to talk about down here in Australia. So, as previously discussed, my strat bombing campaign has been an absolute success in Australia. So right now I'm kind of at a crossroads. Okay, here's the situation we got. We've done almost 3,000 strategic loss points in Australia. We've hit from Melbourne, Sale, Port Kembla, Sydney, and Newcastle, and also Toowoomba. And I need to decide at this point, what do I want to do next? Do I want to keep hitting this place, or is there something more important for me to do? And I do have a concern here. So for one, when we hit Toowoomba last turn, we saw that he has 55 bombers here. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm almost certain of what these are. These are probably those those Banshees that the Allies get. They're basically a Dauntless dive bomber. But they're army issued. These are obviously a bit of a threat to me. If any one of those bombs connects with my carriers, it's game over because they're just so deadly. 1,000-pound bombs. But that's what this is. This has got to be those things, okay? I don't think I want to stick around to find out if that's what they are. Additionally, Brisbane is the next target that makes sense to me. It's got a heavy concentration of stuff that we can hit, right? My concern is this. Any time now, on or around this date, at any point, about 75 American P-40s spawn in Australia. Now, they spawn with terrible pilots, and they spawn disabled, but they only take a few days to repair. And with Hellsen being such a min-maxer as it is, you can guarantee he's going to put his absolute best pilots in those. He'll swap them out from his reserve and put them in to these squadrons. And then we're going to have to deal with 70-something P-40s flying cap over Brisbane. I don't know when they're going to be available. It could be 2 days from now. It could be yesterday. It could be today. I don't really know. So do I hit Brisbane on the way out of here, or do I just let it go, cut my losses, and leave? That's a decision that I have to think over and make and decide. Is it worth risking so many of my valuable bomber pilots on Brisbane if there's a threat of heavy cap forces here? Because Helson's not dumb. He knows we're eyeing this place because we're sitting off of it right now. And we hit Newcastle and Toowoomba, and the way we've been kind of hopscotching around, right, it makes sense to me, and probably to him too, to hit Brisbane. I mean, look at all that juicy industry there. Ooh, light industry, heavy industry, resources. I see points here, guys. I see a lot of points here. But is it worth losing my pilots over? I don't know. Maybe his P-40s aren't even ready yet. I don't have a clue. Will he even engage? I don't know. These bombers here, right? I'm not even guaranteed he's going to keep them here, guys. He's so scared of attacking me. I think what he's going to do is take these guys and just fly them over to Melbourne and get him out of the way, because he may anticipate us bombing Toowoomba to try to hit those bombers on the ground, because we have a precedent of doing that when we detect bombers. We bomb the fields that they're on, and we always miss them because he pulls them out that turn. So I don't think I want to bomb the airfield at Toowoomba, because I don't think we're going to find anything there if we do. Plus, he seems to have a fair amount of flak there. We took some losses from our Douglas dive bombers last turn. Douglas dive bombers, or Vals, not Douglas. Our Val dive bombers from flak. And that was at Toowoomba, so I don't know if I want to hit that again. Overall, I have a lot of decisions to make here. I need to figure out what makes the most sense. I don't really know. If you have any suggestions, I'd love to hear it. What do you think? Should we hit Brisbane on the way out? Should we stick around? Should we leave? What should I do with Keto Butai? I'd love to hear your suggestions, but it's hard to know. what the right answer is here. But what I do know is that this has been a godsend to my campaign. Our score would be nowhere near where it is right now without this. And we're already at 2.05 to 1 in this campaign. And we have so much to do still, right? We have bases to capture. We have all of Java to capture. Eventually, all of these Dutch troops will be dead. There's a lot of points here. We have all of this to capture. All of the Philippines and a ton of army, of allied troops that were eventually surrenders at some point here. Okay? Yeah. There's probably 15 to 2,000 points alone in just the troops that we're going to kill in the Philippines. We have Palembang. We have, I don't know, potentially India. I don't know. China. I will hope to capture China. And if I do, we're talking thousands of points here. So guys, we're already halfway to the auto victory 4-to-1 ratio. If that's what I'm not saying I'm necessarily trying to do that, but we're already halfway there. And it's only January 11th. We have so much more to do. We're just getting started. So those strat points are some amazing padding. If I do decide that things look right for me to go for the auto victory, I may have built up enough lead just with bombing Australia to hold him off until January 1st, 1943. I don't know. There's a lot of campaign to go and I could still screw up, but I think we're sitting really pretty. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. I did have a live stream last night, and it should be available on my channel if you want to go back and watch it, because I covered a lot of stuff and I showed a lot of things that I don't normally talk about in these videos. So give it a look if you'd like to get a little more in depth of like the industry and my other planning things I'm doing. And I guess all that's left to say is please join me on Discord, because that's where I'm going to be after this video is done, and I'd like to talk to you there. I will catch you guys on the next one. The next turn is going to be very important for us.